Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at one of my favorite games, which is one of the most relaxing experiences I've had in the past year. This is the game I go back to when I'm between like some intense AAA games, or I just need a palate cleanser. This is comfort food for me. So No Man's Sky is a game I've been playing on PC for a year, and I used to have it on PlayStation. I do prefer playing it on my PC because I get a really good experience at 1440p. And I have been considering buying a new GPU for a while, so this is a part 2 of VRAM usage my GPU, the 3080, can handle. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a relaxed video this time. Starting here, I'm in my frigate, and let's look at the options. I started at 1440p. As you can see, all the settings are set to ultra. At DLSS set to quality. And with DLSS quality, we're getting a good 145 FPS. And there's 11.4 gigabytes of VRAM being used currently. So let's take her out for a spin. Okay, so here in space, generally I've noticed that I'm getting about 230, 240 FPS because there's not too many textures. So this is like really easy for any graphics card to run. But as we get closer to the planet's surface, that's when all the textures start loading and you'll see the FPS drops rapidly. So we drop by almost 50% from 200 to 100 at times. It'll drop further. Yeah, because we have some atmospheric elements going on too. So if you see there's a storm raging, it's night time. There's lasers coming out of my aircraft, but we're still getting a solid 115 FPS. You see the VRAM usage is pretty constant, 11.4 gigabytes. I wonder if that's how the game processes VRAM, as in it loads all the textures at once. So I'm just gonna fly around here. Maybe land here, and let's see how the FPS changes. See, now it's using more VRAM elements because it has my robot to load in. Let's see, I'm just gonna try to tax the game as much as possible here. So you see, now the FPS is dropping as more textures have to load in rapidly. But we're still at 11.5, which I still have half a gigabyte remaining, which is pretty surprising to me. I did not expect No Man's Sky to be so graphically intense, even at 1440p. So let's get out here. Let's see, FPS is at 105. Still at 11.5 gigabytes. Now let's see, now that we are here, let's go to DLSS balance and really apply the setting. And let's see, it takes a moment for it to come back up to speed. Looks like it's working now. To be honest, I don't see much of a difference in frames per second or the VRAM. It's pretty constant. So we'll do the same thing. We'll get in the Minotaur and just fly around. maybe 4 or 5 FPS at most. I don't see more than that as a difference, even if I do notice it. But I do notice that the textures are slightly worse, very slightly. I'm surprised it's so noticeable between DLSS quality and balance, but it is. It's subtle, but it is noticeable. Like DLSS quality was a little bit more sharpened, I think. Okay, I'm not gonna go down to performance because my GPU is doing well. We don't need to. If I was at 60 FPS, I would have considered dropping it to DLSS performance, but I don't really care. So I'm curious to see how the other upscalers work. Let's try AMD's FSR 2. I've heard that FSR versions that come under version 3.1 are not that good. So what I'm going to try to do is start at FSR quality and maybe move up to FSR native. So this is FSR 2.0 quality. Yes, this is worse. This is worse than Intel, but it is not as bad as people say. In terms of frames per second, we are back to close to 100. And VRAM is still 11.5 gigabytes VRAM. So if you want to play at max settings, ultra settings, you need more than 10. You need at least a 12 gigabyte GPU at minimum to look at FSR native. Let's see if FSR native is... Oh, this is bad. FSR native is bad. Oh my god, this is way worse. This is worse, and the FPS got cut in 60%. Wow, this is really, really bad. We're still at 11.3 gigabytes of VRAM, but the FPS got cut by like 60. This is not looking good. This is not good. Guys, if you're an AMD GPU, I've heard that you can use Intel XeSS. So just use Intel XeSS and you're basically using DLSS 4 balanced. It's really that good. Hey everybody. My recording of the Intel XeSS upscaling got corrupted. So here we are. I'm going to try it again. Starting with 1440p Ultra at Intel XeSS native. So you see at XeSS native, we're getting about 76 FPS. So it's 76 FPS, but look at the VRAM. We're almost at the 12 gigabyte mark. 11.8 gigabytes of VRAM. This seems to be testing the system more than all of the upscalers I've tested so far. And the FPS is also dropped by a little bit. There's a storm going on here, but it doesn't matter. We did have some other atmospheric elements in the other recording, so we should be good. So as before, I'm gonna fly around a little bit in the Minotaur. Well, jump around. 11.85 gigabytes of VRAM. Alright, so 11.85 gigabytes of VRAM. We are this close to the border. Alright, so let's try going down. Personally, Intel XeSS native looks good to my eyes. It looks better than DLSS balance, but with DLSS balance we were getting way more frames per second. And we were only using 11.4 gigabytes of VRAM. So DLSS balanced at 1440p works better than XeSS native, both in terms of visual fidelity and FPS. So at Intel XeSS quality, let's see what happens. I'm gonna give it a minute to settle in. But I have good news for everybody. Intel XeSS quality is fantastic. We have dropped to 11 gigabytes from 11.85. But look at this, we've gained almost 30 FPS. From 75 and 80 FPS, we're now up to 105 to 110. Which is significantly noticeable. But what's not noticeable is the loss of visual fidelity is not noticeable. I think this looks on par with DLSS balanced at 1440, which is amazing considering Intel's really short history into the GPU market. They've only entered the GPU market a couple years ago. So for a company that's this new, their upscaling tech is better than AMD's. So much better, significantly better. It looks better, it runs better. So if you're on an AMD GPU, you should use Intel XeSS. Don't even bother with anything that's not FSR 4. Yeah, Intel is doing a fantastic job with the upscaling. But here I'm going to show you the limits of the 12 gigabyte GPU. So we're going to try DLAA, which is NVIDIA's advanced deep learning anti-aliasing solution. So I'm going to try DLAA. I've noticed that DLAA seems to stress the system really hard. So DLAA, ultra quality DLAA. We're at 80 FPS. This is quite good. This is really good. I would say this is either the best or very close to DLSS quality. This is really good. But in terms of FPS, again, if you see, we're losing a lot. But VRAM is pretty constant at 11.5. So there we have it. For all of our upscaling technologies, we'll use TAA as a reference point for all of our upscaling technologies. So with TAA, God, TAA, I see why people on Reddit hate TAA. It's a bit blurry. It's not noticeably blurry, but it is a little bit, tiny bit worse. I would say DLAA looks the best, or DLSS quality looks the best. But look here, we have 11 gigabytes of VRAM. So basically using any upscaler seems to be consuming more VRAM. I would think it would be the other way around, because TAA is like the native implementation of the game software, versus upscaling is pulling up the resolution from a lower resolution, either 1080p or lower. So here we have it. I've tested most of the upscaling tech. As a worst case scenario, I'm going to see if we can turn off anti-aliasing, and let's see how that works. So 1440p, no anti-aliasing. This is weird. 1440p, no AA. Firstly, I think the temperature changed. The time of day has also changed, so it looks different. So I'm going to stand in this light and take a look. I think in terms of quality, this DLSS quality might look better than this, I think. We have lost FPS, we've lost some performance, we've gained some VRAM usage. I don't like it. It doesn't even look that great. All the upscaling modes have been tested, all the popular ones at least. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you guys need some, if you guys have any recommendations, games you want me to play, or something else